Your horse already knows more about you than you think. They can sense your emotions better than people do. They decide who they trust in ways you'd never imagine. And they even see the world completely differently than we do. Today, we're diving into what your horse really thinks about you. And some of these truths may completely change the way you look at your relationship. Let's start with one of the most surprising discoveries. Horses can read human emotions better than we do ourselves. Sounds impossible? Let's see how. Get ready to see your horse like never before. Number 1. They read micro-expressions we miss completely. Horses possess the ability to detect the tiniest facial changes that escape human notice entirely. While we might think someone looks perfectly calm, horses can spot the subtle tightening around the eyes, the barely perceptible downturn of the mouth, or the slight tension in the jaw that betrays true emotional state. Karen's team has made the surprising discovery that horses have 17 different facial expressions. That's 3 more than chimpanzees and 1 more than dogs. But more importantly, they can recognize these same subtle expressions in human faces with remarkable accuracy. Research conducted at the University of Sussex showed that horses can distinguish between happy and angry human facial expressions in photographs, even when the expressions are so subtle that many humans would miss them. When shown images of unfamiliar people displaying different emotions, horses consistently showed more stress behaviors and increased heart rates when viewing angry faces compared to happy ones. The most fascinating part? Horses remember these emotional expressions. When the same horses later met the people from the photographs in person, they approached individuals they had seen with happy expressions more readily than those they had seen with angry expressions, even though they had never actually interacted with these people before. This ability to read and remember micro-expressions gives horses a significant advantage in emotional intelligence that most humans simply don't possess. We're often fooled by someone putting on a brave face, but horses see right through these emotional masks. Number 2. They detect heart rate changes from a distance. One of the most extraordinary abilities horses possess is their capacity to sense changes in human heart rate and breathing patterns from several feet away. This isn't supernatural. It's biology at its finest. Horses have evolved incredibly sensitive hearing that allows them to detect the subtle changes in our cardiovascular system that occur with different emotional states. When we're anxious, our heart rate increases and our breathing becomes shallower. When we're calm, our heart rate slows and our breathing deepens. Horses can hear these changes before we're even conscious of them ourselves. Studies have shown that horses' own heart rates will synchronize with their human companions, particularly those they trust most. This phenomenon, called cardiac coherence, demonstrates that horses are not just reading our emotions, they're literally feeling them with us. This ability serves horses well in the wild, where detecting the stress levels of potential threats could mean the difference between life and death. With humans, this same skill allows them to provide comfort precisely when we need it most, often before we even realize we're distressed. The practical implications of this are profound. Horses used in therapeutic settings have been observed to approach clients who are experiencing emotional distress, even when those individuals are trying to hide their feelings from human therapists. Number 3. They interpret body language we don't even know we're displaying. While humans focus primarily on facial expressions and verbal communication, horses are masters at reading the subtle language of the body. They notice the slightest changes in posture, gait, and muscle tension that betray our true emotional state. When we're confident, we naturally carry ourselves differently than when we're anxious or sad. Our shoulders sit differently, our stride changes, and even the way we hold our head shifts with our emotional state. Horses catalog all of these subtle variations and use them to understand exactly how we're feeling. He's sniffing the ground ostensibly, and you think, oh, he's just sniffing the ground. Another horse was in here, but stop. Actually, that sniffling the ground again occurs consistently in response to something that's a bit more negative, so that he's unsure about this. Humans do that as well. You know, when we're a bit uncomfortable, you might scratch yourself, or we glance away from something, just gives us a little bit of time to adjust. Research has shown that horses can predict human behavior based on body language cues that are completely unconscious to us. They know when we're about to move in a particular direction, when we're feeling uncertain about a decision, or when we're trying to project confidence we don't actually feel. This remarkable ability extends to reading the body language of multiple humans simultaneously. In group settings, horses can identify which person is the most anxious, which is the most confident, and which poses the greatest potential threat, all from subtle postural cues that escape human notice. Number 4. They sense emotional energy fields. While this might sound mystical, there's solid scientific evidence that horses can detect the electromagnetic fields generated by human emotions. Every emotion we experience creates measurable changes in our body's electrical activity, and horses have evolved the sensitivity to perceive these changes. The HeartMath Institute has conducted extensive research on the electromagnetic field generated by the human heart, which extends up to 8 feet around our bodies. This field changes dramatically based on our emotional state, becoming more coherent when we're calm and loving, and more chaotic when we're stressed or angry. Horses appear to be naturally tuned into these electromagnetic signatures. They respond differently to people based not just on what they see or hear, but on the actual energy field surrounding that person. This explains why horses often react to someone's emotional state before that person has even approached close enough for traditional sensory input. Studies have documented horses becoming agitated when brought near people experiencing high levels of emotional turmoil, even when those individuals were sitting quietly and showing no outward signs of distress. Conversely, horses often seek out and position themselves near people who are generating calm, coherent energy fields. This electromagnetic sensitivity may explain why horses are so effective in therapeutic settings. They're drawn to work with individuals who need emotional healing, often positioning themselves to provide comfort before anyone realizes that comfort is needed. Number 5. They read scent changes associated with emotions. Horses possess an olfactory system that is far more sophisticated than our own, and they use this enhanced sense of smell to detect the chemical changes that occur in our bodies when we experience different emotions. When we feel fear, anxiety, anger, or joy, our bodies release different combinations of hormones and neurotransmitters. These chemical changes alter our natural scent in ways that are imperceptible to humans, but glaringly obvious to horses. Research has shown that horses can distinguish between the scent of a person who is calm versus one who is stressed, even from clothing or objects that person has touched. They respond differently to these scent signatures, often showing signs of alertness or concern when detecting stress-related chemical markers. This chemical communication system works both ways. Horses also release their own emotional scent markers, and humans with close relationships to horses often report being able to sense their horse's emotional state through subtle changes in their natural smell. The practical applications of this ability are significant in both training and therapeutic contexts. Horses can detect when a person is trying to hide fear or anxiety, allowing trainers and therapists to address underlying emotional issues that might not be apparent through other means of assessment. Number 6. They mirror and amplify human emotional states. One of the most remarkable aspects of equine emotional intelligence is their ability to not just read our emotions, but to mirror and amplify them back to us. This creates a feedback loop that can help humans become more aware of their own emotional states. When we're calm and centered, horses often become calm and centered as well. When we're agitated or fearful, horses may become restless or alert. This mirroring effect serves as an emotional barometer, giving us real-time feedback about our internal state that we might otherwise ignore or suppress. Now this will be interesting. Look at what part of the face he's going to go to. Look, he's going towards the right to the mouth. Mouth, yeah, and sometimes they go right up to the eyes. Yep. It's interesting, that sweep between the mouth and the eyes. It's almost as if they understand that the mouth and the eyes are the most significant bit of the human face. But horses don't just mirror our emotions. They often amplify them. A person who is mildly anxious might find their horse becoming significantly more alert and reactive. This amplification effect forces humans to confront emotional states they might prefer to ignore, making horses incredibly effective emotional teachers. Research in equine-assisted therapy has documented numerous cases where horses have helped clients recognize emotional patterns they were completely unaware of. The horse's behavioral responses serve as a mirror, reflecting back the client's emotional state with startling clarity. This mirroring ability extends beyond simple emotional matching. Horses can also offer emotional regulation, helping anxious humans find calm or encouraging withdrawn individuals to open up emotionally. Number 7. They recognize emotional patterns and predict behavior. Horses possess remarkable abilities to recognize emotional patterns in humans and use this information to predict future behavior. They learn to associate specific emotional states with particular actions, allowing them to anticipate human responses before they occur. A horse might learn that when their human arrives with a particular combination of body language, scent, and energy, certain activities are likely to follow. They might recognize the signs that indicate a good training session versus a day when their human is too distracted or stressed to work effectively. This pattern recognition extends to long-term emotional trends as well. Horses often notice when their humans are going through difficult periods in their lives, adjusting their own behavior to provide appropriate support or to avoid adding additional stress. They're capable of putting together the sort of representation of the person with the emotion. To me, that shows a very acute emotional awareness. This sophisticated level of emotional intelligence allows horses to serve as both barometers and predictors of human emotional states. In therapeutic settings, horses have been observed changing their approach to clients based on subtle shifts in emotional patterns that occur over multiple sessions. They might become more gentle with someone who is working through grief, or more energetic with someone who is emerging from depression. This predictive ability also extends to recognizing when someone is approaching an emotional breakthrough or crisis, often positioning themselves to provide support at exactly the right moment. Number 8. They respond to emotional contagion more effectively than humans. Emotional contagion, the phenomenon where emotions spread from one individual to another, is something horses navigate with remarkable skill. While humans often struggle with emotional boundaries and can become overwhelmed by others' emotions, horses seem to have mastered the art of emotional empathy without losing themselves in the process. When a human is experiencing intense emotions, horses can absorb and process these feelings without becoming destabilized. They feel the emotion, understand it, and respond appropriately, but they don't get stuck in emotional states that aren't their own. This ability makes horses incredibly effective emotional healers. They can meet someone in their emotional space, provide the comfort or grounding needed, and then return to their own emotional equilibrium. Humans often struggle with this level of emotional regulation, either becoming too disconnected or too overwhelmed when faced with others' intense feelings. Research has shown that horses in therapeutic settings can work with multiple clients experiencing different emotional challenges throughout a single day without showing signs of emotional fatigue or confusion. This emotional resilience, combined with empathetic responsiveness, is a rare combination that serves both horses and humans well. The implications for human emotional development are significant. By observing how horses handle emotional contagion, we can learn better strategies for maintaining our own emotional balance while still being present for others in need. Number 9. They use emotional intelligence for survival decisions. In the wild, the ability to read emotions isn't just useful, it's essential for survival. Horses have evolved to make split-second decisions about whether other beings, including humans, represent safety or danger based on emotional cues. This survival-honed emotional intelligence gives horses an edge in accuracy that humans, who rely more heavily on cognitive processing, often lack. While we might rationalize away our gut feelings or misinterpret social cues, horses trust their emotional readings and act accordingly. When horses encounter a new human, they're instantly processing multiple streams of emotional information to determine that person's intent, emotional stability, and potential threat level. This assessment happens faster and more accurately than most human evaluations of the same situation. The survival imperative has also taught horses to read group emotional dynamics with extraordinary precision. They can identify which member of a human group is the most confident leader, which person is fearful and might make poor decisions, and which individual poses the greatest potential danger. This evolutionary advantage in emotional reading has been refined over thousands of years, making horses remarkably accurate judges of human character and intent. Their assessments are often more reliable than our own conscious evaluations of people we meet. Number 10. They process multiple emotional layers simultaneously. Perhaps the most sophisticated aspect of equine emotional intelligence is their ability to process multiple layers of human emotions simultaneously. While humans often focus on the most obvious or loudest emotional signal, horses can detect and respond to the complex emotional cocktails that make up our real internal experience. They have enough understanding to interpret not only emotion in the face of their own species, but emotion in our faces. It makes sense that horses use emotions to communicate with each other, but what fascinates me is they can read our emotions as well. A person might be presenting anger on the surface while feeling hurt underneath, with traces of fear and confusion mixed in. Horses can detect all of these emotional layers and often respond to the deeper, more authentic emotions rather than the surface presentation. This multi-layered emotional processing allows horses to see through defense mechanisms and emotional facades that might fool other humans completely. They respond to who we really are emotionally, not who we're pretending to be. In therapeutic contexts, this ability has proven invaluable. Horses often cut straight through to the core emotional issues that clients are struggling with, bypassing superficial presentations and defensive strategies that might slow progress in traditional therapy settings. The sophistication of this emotional processing rivals or exceeds human capabilities in many situations. While we might get confused by mixed emotional signals or manipulated by emotional facades, horses maintain clarity about the authentic emotional reality they're perceiving. If your horse demonstrates even half of these remarkable emotional reading abilities, you're experiencing one of the most profound interspecies connections possible. Cherish it, learn from it, and never underestimate the emotional wisdom of these magnificent beings who have chosen to share their lives with us. But understanding emotions is only part of the story. Even the smallest actions you take around your horse can either build trust or break it. And most owners don't even realize they're making these mistakes every single day. Here are 15 actions that could be damaging your bond without you knowing it. 1. Forcing your horse into scary situations. Pushing a terrified horse into a trailer might get them loaded today, but good luck tomorrow. Horses have extraordinary memories of frightening experiences. When handlers force them into overwhelming environments, whether it's trailers, water crossings, or busy show rings, they're teaching their horse that human guidance leads to terror, not safety. At a busy boarding stable, a gelding named Comet developed severe trailer loading issues after being forced inside with whips and pressure. The horse literally trembled at the sight of any trailer. His new owner spent 6 months rebuilding trust through tiny, rewarded steps. First just standing near the trailer, then touching it, then 1 foot in. The transformation happened when Comet realized humans would respect his fear instead of punishing it. Patience and desensitization aren't just nice training approaches, they're the only ones that work long-term. Breaking scary situations into small, manageable steps while using positive reinforcement creates a horse who trusts human judgment. Force creates compliance through fear. Patience builds partnership through trust. 2. Taking their food or resources abruptly. Food security matters profoundly to horses. Their entire biology revolves around consistent access to forage. When humans suddenly snatch hay, feed buckets, or toys without warning, they're activating deep survival instincts that can trigger resource guarding or anxiety. A mare at a rescue center would pin her ears and become aggressive anytime someone approached during meals. Investigation revealed her previous owner regularly removed her food mid-meal as punishment. The behavior wasn't attitude, It was a learned defensive response to protect her resources. Simple solutions make enormous differences. Announcing your presence before approaching during feeding time, offering a small treat before removing a bucket, and ensuring consistent meal timing all signal to horses that humans respect their basic needs. Horses who trust their resources are secure become much more generous and relaxed partners. 3. Teasing or pranking them. Those YouTube videos of people intentionally scaring horses might get laughs, but they cause lasting psychological damage. Waving plastic bags in their face, making sudden loud noises, or deliberately startling them might seem like harmless fun to humans, but to a prey animal, it mimics predator behavior. Several horses at a therapeutic riding center developed head shyness after a volunteer thought it was amusing to boop them on the nose repeatedly. What seemed like innocent play to the human registered as threatening, unpredictable behavior to the horses. Months of gentle handling were required to help these horses trust human touch again. Respecting a horse's space and communicating with calm, consistent actions builds their confidence in humans as safe partners. Every interaction either deposits into or withdraws from your trust account. Teasing makes massive withdrawals for minimal entertainment value. 4. Using the come command for unpleasant tasks. Horses quickly make associations between cues and consequences. When handlers only call their horses to catch them for unpleasant experiences, vaccination day, hard workouts, trailer loading, they teach their horses that coming when called leads to stress. A previously easy-to-catch pony began hiding in the back corner of his field whenever anyone appeared with a halter. The pattern became clear. He only got caught for vet visits, farrier appointments, and intensive training sessions. His owner transformed this by spending weeks just haltering him, giving treats, and turning him loose again. No demands, no work, just positive associations. The fix requires consistency. Reward your horse generously every time they come to you, even if it's just for a scratch and release. Create a pattern where approaching humans is usually pleasant and occasionally challenging, rather than consistently unpleasant. 5. Invading their personal space. Horses have sophisticated spatial awareness and clear boundaries about their personal space. Humans who constantly crowd them, lean over their backs uninvited, or stand in their blind spots trigger discomfort and defensive reactions that get mislabeled as bad behavior. During a clinic demonstration, spectators noticed a horse becoming increasingly agitated with its handler. The experienced clinician pointed out how the handler unconsciously leaned into the horse's space whenever giving commands, creating pressure without release. Simply adjusting her body position to respect the horse's bubble completely changed their dynamic. Respectful handling means approaching from areas where horses can see you clearly, their side, not directly in front or behind, reading their body language for consent, and giving them the option to move away. Horses who feel their boundaries are respected become much more willing to share their space voluntarily. 6. Punishing fear or confusion. Perhaps no trust breaker does more damage than punishing a horse for being afraid. Yanking on the reins when they spook, hitting them when they resist, or yelling when they freeze in confusion teaches them humans are dangerous, unpredictable, and unsafe. A striking black gelding earned a reputation as stubborn and defiant when he refused to cross wooden bridges. His owner would get increasingly frustrated, using crops and harsh bits to force compliance. When a new trainer approached the problem differently, they discovered the horse had fallen through a rotted bridge as a youngster. His refusal wasn't defiance. It was a legitimate fear based on experience. Staying calm during your horse's moments of fear shows leadership. Redirecting their focus, identifying root causes, pain, confusion, legitimate fear, and building confidence through small successes creates a horse who looks to humans for guidance during scary moments, not one who fears human reaction more than the original trigger. 7. Breaking routines without warning. Horses thrive on predictability and struggle with sudden changes. Their digestive and mental health depend on consistent patterns. Abrupt changes in feeding schedules, turnout times, or training routines create stress that damages trust in their caretakers. During a barn management change, Feeding times shifted from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. without transition. Horses began showing signs of ulcers, cribbing, and general anxiety. These weren't just picky eaters. Their bodies had adapted to specific routines that were suddenly disrupted. Gradual transitions and consistency in critical areas, feeding, turnout, basic handling, build a foundation of security. When changes are necessary, introducing them slowly while maintaining core routines helps horses adjust without losing confidence in human care. 8. Ignoring pain or discomfort. Forcing a horse to work through physical pain guarantees broken trust. When riders dismiss head tossing, bucking, or resistance as attitude problems rather than investigating possible physical causes, they teach their horse that human demands override legitimate discomfort. A problem mare had developed a reputation for bucking during cantering transitions. Multiple trainers tried behavioral approaches, punishment, and stronger equipment without success. It wasn't until a thorough veterinary exam revealed kissing spine, a painful back condition, that her behavioral problem was understood as pain communication. After treatment and appropriate rehabilitation, the bucking disappeared completely. Regular assessment for subtle signs of pain or discomfort, flinching during grooming, resistance to saddling, changes in performance, and swift action to address causes demonstrates to horses that their physical well-being matters to handlers. This creates a foundation of trust that humans will listen to their communication rather than punishing the messenger. 9. Using dominance tactics. Methods that rely on intimidation, fear, or excessive pressure might create short-term compliance but destroy long-term trust. Chasing a horse aggressively in a round pen, using harsh punishment, or employing pain-based equipment might get immediate results but damages the relationship fundamentally. During a natural horsemanship demonstration, a weanling was subjected to aggressive join-up techniques that left him trembling and dissociative. While the presenter claimed victory when the exhausted foal finally followed him, experienced observers recognized signs of learned helplessness, not willing partnership. True leadership with horses emerges from clear communication, appropriate boundaries, and mutual respect, not domination. Horses seek security, not submission. They follow leaders who make them feel safe, not those who make them feel threatened. 10. Being unpredictable with emotions. Horses are emotional mirrors, exquisitely attuned to human emotional states. When handlers are inconsistent with their emotions, calm one moment, explosive the next, horses become perpetually anxious, never knowing which version of their human will appear. A talented dressage horse began developing stress behaviors, grinding teeth, swishing tail, tense movement, despite excellent care and training. Video review revealed the subtle cause. His rider's emotional state fluctuated dramatically during sessions. Moments of frustration created tension that transferred directly to the horse, regardless of her technical skill. Emotional self-regulation around horses isn't just good horsemanship, it's essential for trust. Practicing mindfulness, breathing deeply during challenges, and maintaining emotional consistency creates horses who can relax into the partnership rather than bracing for emotional storms. 11. Inconsistent boundaries and expectations. Horses thrive on clarity and consistency. When handlers enforce a rule one day, but ignore it the next, or when different people around the same horse have wildly different expectations, it creates confusion that erodes trust in human leadership. A young gelding at a lesson barn developed dangerous, pushy behavior, barging through gates and crowding handlers. Investigation revealed the root cause. Some staff firmly enforced personal space boundaries, while others thought his pushing was cute and rewarded it with treats. The horse wasn't being deliberately difficult. He was responding logically to inconsistent human communication. Establishing clear, fair boundaries that remain consistent regardless of who's handling the horse creates security. When horses can predict the response to their actions, they develop confidence in the relationship. Teams of handlers, family members, barn staff, should agree on basic handling protocols so the horse receives consistent messages rather than conflicting signals that create anxiety and testing behaviors. 12. Rushing through groundwork and handling. In our hurry-up world, many handlers rush basic interactions, haltering, leading, grooming, focusing only on the end goal, rather than the quality of the connection during these fundamental moments. At a busy lesson stable, a mare became increasingly difficult to catch and handle. A consultant noticed that no one spent time acknowledging her before clipping on a lead rope. They'd simply approach quickly, halter efficiently, and move to the next task. The horse's growing resistance wasn't misbehavior. It was a plea for basic recognition and partnership. Taking an extra 30 seconds during everyday interactions, allowing the horse to acknowledge you before haltering, giving a moment of appreciation after mounting, checking in with eye contact during grooming, builds a foundation of respect that translates to willingness during more demanding work. These small moments of connection are where the real relationship develops, not just during formal training sessions. 13. Failing to acknowledge effort and try. Horses naturally seek release and relief. When handlers fail to acknowledge sincere attempts and small improvements, demanding perfection before offering release, they teach their horses that trying doesn't matter. A sensitive thoroughbred would become increasingly anxious during trailer loading attempts. His owner would only release pressure when he was fully loaded, ignoring all the intermediate efforts, stepping toward the trailer, placing one foot on the ramp, etc. The horse eventually stopped trying altogether, frozen in learned helplessness. A new approach that rewarded each approximation transformed his loading within weeks, breaking challenges into small, achievable steps and acknowledging each genuine attempt creates horses who keep trying rather than shutting down. Timing rewards to mark the exact moment of cooperation, even if imperfect, builds motivation and trust. Horses who know their efforts will be recognized become willing partners who offer more, not less. 14. Transferring your negative emotions to the horse. Horses are extraordinary emotional sponges, absorbing and reflecting their handler's internal state. When humans use horses as emotional dumping grounds, riding aggressively after a bad day, taking out frustrations through harsh handling, or transferring performance anxiety directly to the animal, they damage the foundation of safety that trust requires. A professional rider couldn't understand why her talented show jumper began refusing fences despite perfect physical health. Video analysis revealed the subtle problem. In the moments before difficult combinations, her own anxiety caused almost imperceptible tension in her body. The horse, reading this as a warning signal, naturally hesitated at precisely those jumps. Responsible horsemanship includes emotional accountability, recognizing when your own stress, anger, or anxiety might impact your horse, and either addressing it before interaction or adjusting your expectations for that session. Horses who feel they're humans bring emotional stability rather than turbulence, develop confidence in the leadership being offered. 15. Failing to protect them from negative experiences. As the decision makers in the relationship, handlers have a responsibility to advocate for their horse's well-being and prevent negative experiences when possible. When humans consistently place horses in overwhelming situations, allow aggressive horses to bully them in turnout, or subject them to incompetent handling by others, they break the foundational promise of partnership. I will keep you safe. A historically confident trail horse developed severe anxiety after his owner repeatedly allowed an inexperienced, rough rider to use him. The message to the horse was clear: my human will not protect me from discomfort and fear. Rebuilding his confidence took months of exclusively positive experiences with careful riders who respected his needs. True partnership means becoming your horse's advocate, carefully selecting appropriate training environments, setting them up for success rather than failure, and sometimes making the hard choice to say not today when conditions aren't right. Horses who know they're humans make decisions with their well-being in mind, develop the ultimate trust, the confidence to follow even when they don't understand where they're being led. The relationship between horse and human represents something remarkable, a voluntary partnership between prey and predator species built entirely on earned trust. By eliminating these 15 trust-breaking behaviors and replacing them with their positive counterparts, handlers don't just improve performance, they transform the fundamental quality of the relationship into something extraordinary. A willing partnership based on mutual respect rather than dominance or fear. The most successful partnerships between horses and humans aren't built on dominance, force, or even technical skill. They're built on a foundation of mutual trust. Avoiding these 15 trust-breaking actions doesn't just improve behavioral issues. It transforms the relationship into something extraordinary, a willing partnership between prey, animal, and predator, based on understanding rather than coercion. So now you know what not to do. But how do you know if your horse actually trusts you? The truth is, trust doesn't always look the way people expect. In fact, if your horse does any of these things, it's a clear sign they trust you more than you realize. Number 10. They allow you to touch their tongue. Now this might sound super weird, but a horse letting you touch its tongue is like hitting the trust jackpot. Horses are prey animals, and their mouth is incredibly sensitive and vulnerable. In the wild, no horse would ever willingly let another creature mess with their mouth unless they absolutely trusted them. Think about it. When your horse lets you check their teeth or touch their tongue, they're basically giving you access to one of their most important survival tools, their ability to eat. I've seen horses who would rather crash through a fence than let someone touch their mouth. So when your horse stands calmly while you reach for their tongue, they're showing you a level of trust that goes way beyond normal. Many vets will tell you they can instantly judge the relationship between horse and owner just by watching how the horse reacts when the owner touches near their mouth. And honestly, this kind of trust can save your horse's life someday when you need to remove something dangerous they've eaten or check for health issues. Number 9. They seek you out when scared. Have you ever noticed how some horses run to their owners when something spooks them, while others bolt in the opposite direction? This is huge! A horse that comes to you during scary moments is literally breaking their natural instinct to flee danger. They're actually saying, "You make me feel safer than running away." And for a prey animal that's evolved to survive by escaping, that's mind-blowing. I remember working with a mare who was terrified of plastic bags. For months, she'd panic and run to the farthest corner of her paddock. But after building trust, one day when a bag blew into her field, she ran straight to me and buried her head against my chest. It nearly made me cry because I knew what that meant. She was choosing me over her instinct. This doesn't happen overnight, though. It's built through consistently being calm during scary situations and never punishing your horse for being afraid. Next time something startles your horse, watch where they go. It tells you everything about how much they trust your protection. Number 8. They match your breathing rhythm. This is super cool, and most people have no idea it's happening. Horses are incredibly sensitive to breathing patterns, both with other horses and with humans. When your horse syncs their breathing to yours, they're tuning into your emotional state. It's like they're saying, "I feel what you're feeling." You can test this by standing next to your horse and taking slow, deep breaths. Watch their sides, and you'll often see them start breathing at the same pace. It's almost like magic. This mirroring behavior is actually how horses connect with each other in the herd. It's their way of building emotional bonds. Scientists have found that horses who mirror their owner's breathing have significantly lower stress hormones, even in challenging situations. I use this all the time with nervous horses. Just by controlling my own breathing, I can help them calm down. It's like having a secret language between you that doesn't need words. Number 7. They surrender their poll area. If you don't know, the poll is that super sensitive spot right between your horse's ears at the top of their head. In the wild, predators target this vulnerable area to bring down horses, so they're naturally super protective of it. When your horse lowers their head and freely lets you touch this spot, they're literally placing their life in your hands. I worked with a rescue horse who would throw his head up violently if anyone even reached towards his pole. After months of gentle work, the day he finally relaxed and let me massage this area, I knew we'd reached a breakthrough moment of trust. Horses who trust you will not only allow pole touches, but will actually lean into your hand, seeking that connection. What makes this special is they're choosing to be vulnerable with you. They're overriding their survival instincts because they believe you won't hurt them. Some trainers call this the ultimate surrender, and it opens doors to so much more in your relationship. Number 6. They blow gentle air in your face. Ever had your horse softly blow into your face and wondered what it means? This isn't just random behavior. It's actually a greeting ritual horses use with each other to share information and establish connections. When they choose to share this intimate greeting with you, they're treating you like part of their herd. This breath exchange lets horses learn about each other's health, emotional state, and identity through scent molecules. It's their version of a handshake and hello all wrapped into one. The next time your horse does this, try softly blowing back. Not forcefully, just a gentle breath. Watch how they respond, often with pricked ears and intense interest. They might even blow again, continuing the conversation. This breathing ritual is especially meaningful because it's completely voluntary. They're choosing to connect with you in the most horsey way possible. Number 5. They cock a hind leg while you're with them. This might seem small, but it's actually huge in horse language. When a horse stands with one hind leg relaxed and resting, they're literally putting themselves in a vulnerable position. In this stance, they can't spring into action quickly, which wild horses would never do unless they felt completely safe. So when your horse is chilling with one leg cocked while you're grooming or just hanging out, they're saying, "I don't need to be ready to run because I know you've got my back." I always notice this with horses who've been through trauma. At first, they stand like coiled springs, ready to bolt at any second. Watching them gradually reach the point where they'll rest a hind leg is like watching them shed years of fear and anxiety right before your eyes. Some horses will even shift from one resting leg to another, showing they're so relaxed they can completely let down their guard around you. Don't take this simple posture for granted. It's a beautiful gift of trust. Number 4. They close their eyes in your presence. Horses rely on their eyesight as a primary defense against predators. They can see almost 360 degrees around them thanks to those side-positioned eyes. So when a horse closes their eyes around you, they're literally shutting down their main survival system. This is massive. It's like they're saying, "I believe you'll keep me safe even when I can't see danger coming." I've watched horses who were constantly on high alert gradually begin to blink slowly and eventually close their eyes completely during grooming sessions. These moments are pure gold. They show your horse feels secure enough to temporarily turn off their vigilance. I know one therapy horse who closes his eyes when his favorite special needs rider sits on him. It moves the therapists to tears every time because they understand what it means. A horse with closed eyes isn't just relaxed. They're actively choosing to trust your protection over their own instincts. Number 3. They remember how you make them feel. Horses have incredible emotional memory. They don't just remember what you did, they remember how you made them feel, and they carry that memory for months or even years. Have you noticed how your horse greets you differently depending on your mood? They can tell when you're sad, stressed, or happy, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. This emotional recognition shows deep trust built over time. I knew a horse who would get super gentle and quiet whenever his owner came to the barn upset, almost like he was trying to comfort her. But the same horse would be playful and energetic when she arrived happy. This wasn't coincidence. Research shows horses can recognize human emotional expressions and remember them long term. When your horse responds to your emotions this way, they're demonstrating not just trust, but actual emotional investment in your relationship. They care about your state of mind, which goes way beyond basic trust into something much more special. Number 2. They follow you anywhere without hesitation. A horse that follows you without resistance shows fundamental trust in your leadership. Whether you're guiding them past a scary object, into an unfamiliar trailer, or across a stream, their willingness to go where you go speaks volumes about their faith in you. What's really amazing is when they follow you without any lead rope or halter, just your presence guiding them. I've seen horses walk through fire, literally when a barn was burning, because they trusted their humans that much. This kind of trust develops when you consistently prove your leadership is trustworthy, not by forcing them into scary situations, but by helping them navigate challenges safely. When a horse follows you freely, they're choosing you as their safe place in a world full of potential dangers. They're saying your judgment matters more than my fear, and that's incredible. Number 1. They lay down in your presence. This is the ultimate trust signal from any horse. In the wild, horses only lie down when they feel 100% safe. It's their most vulnerable position, taking several precious seconds to get back on their feet if danger approaches. When your horse chooses to lie down while you're nearby, they're showing the highest possible level of trust in your protection. I still remember the first time my rescue horse laid down in the field while I was sitting nearby after 2 years of patient work. It felt like winning the Olympics of trust. This behavior is so significant because they're literally placing their life in your hands. They believe in your protection so completely, they're willing to be completely defenseless around you. Some horses will even invite you to sit with them, creating a peaceful connection that feels almost magical. If your horse does this, consider yourself honored. You've earned a level of trust that few humans ever experience. The bond between horse and human is ancient, and when a horse trusts you, it's a gift. These signs aren't just habits. They're your horse's way of saying, "I feel safe with you." From sinking their breath to turning to you in fear, they're speaking a language of trust that's been evolving for thousands of years. If your horse shows you even one of these signs, cherish it. Let us know in the comments. How does your horse show they trust you? And finally, to really understand how your horse experiences the world, and you need to see things through their eyes. Because what your horse sees when they look at you is not the same as what you see when you look at them. Here's the fascinating truth about equine vision. Number 1, they see your fear before you even feel it. When your horse looks at you, the first thing they're scanning for is fear. Horses are prey animals, and their survival has depended on reading the emotional states of every creature around them for millions of years. They can detect fear in you long before you're consciously aware of it yourself. Your horse notices the subtle tension in your shoulders when you're approaching something that makes you nervous. They see how your breathing changes, becoming shallower and faster when you're anxious. They pick up on the way you hold your hands differently, how your stride becomes slightly shorter, and how your eyes dart around more frequently. What's truly remarkable is that horses can sense your fear even when you think you're hiding it well. You might put on a brave face and tell yourself you're fine, but your horse sees right through that facade. They notice the micro-expressions that flash across your face for just milliseconds, the way you unconsciously step back slightly, or how your voice gets just a little higher when you're trying to sound confident. This fear detection isn't just about obvious situations, like approaching a scary obstacle. Your horse can sense when you're worried about their health, anxious about a riding lesson, or stressed about something completely unrelated to them. They absorb all of this emotional information and often mirror it back to you, becoming more tense and alert when they sense your fear. Number 2, they read your confidence like an open book. Just as horses are expert fear detectors, they're equally skilled at recognizing genuine confidence. When your horse looks at you, they can immediately tell whether you truly believe in yourself or if you're just pretending to be confident. Real confidence shows up in your posture, shoulders back but relaxed, head held naturally high, and a grounded stance. Your horse sees how you move through space with purpose and certainty. They notice that your breathing is deep and steady, your movements are deliberate rather than rushed, and your energy feels solid and reliable. But here's what's fascinating. Horses can distinguish between genuine confidence and false bravado. When someone is overcompensating for their insecurity by acting overly aggressive or loud, horses see right through it. They recognize the underlying uncertainty and often become more resistant or nervous around people who are faking confidence. True confidence in a human translates to security for a horse. When they see that you genuinely believe in your ability to handle situations, they relax and become more willing to follow your lead. They trust that you won't put them in danger because you trust yourself to make good decisions. Your horse also notices when your confidence is situation-specific. You might be completely confident while grooming them, but nervous when it comes to loading them in a trailer. They read these nuances and adjust their behavior accordingly, often becoming more supportive in situations where they sense you need extra help. Number 3, they detect your love and affection instantly. When your horse looks at you with love in your heart, they see it immediately. Love has a very specific energy signature that horses recognize and respond to powerfully. They notice how your facial muscles soften when you look at them, how your voice changes to a warmer tone, and how your entire body language becomes more open and inviting. Horses can distinguish between someone who genuinely loves them and someone who's just going through the motions of care. They see the difference in how you approach them. With love, your movements become more fluid and gentle, your energy feels warm and inviting, and you naturally give them more space to be themselves. Your horse notices when you look at them with what scientists call soft eyes, that relaxed, loving gaze that parents give to their children. This triggers a positive response in horses, often causing them to approach you more readily or show signs of contentment, like lowering their head or relaxing their muscles. They also see your love in the small details of how you care for them. The way you take extra time to brush a spot they enjoy, how you speak to them throughout grooming, and how you respect their boundaries all communicate love in a language horses understand perfectly. Interestingly, horses can even sense when you're thinking about them with love when you're not physically present. Many horse owners report that their horses seem to know when they've been missed or thought about fondly, greeting them with extra enthusiasm after time apart. Number 4. They sense your stress and absorb it. Stress is like a neon sign to horses. When your horse looks at you, they immediately pick up on any stress you're carrying, whether it's related to them or something completely different in your life. Horses are emotional sponges, and they often absorb and mirror the stress they sense in their humans. Your horse sees stress in the way you hold tension in your jaw, the rapid blinking of your eyes, and the restless energy in your movements. They notice when you're multitasking in your mind, thinking about work problems while trying to interact with them. This divided attention creates a scattered energy that horses find unsettling. Stress shows up in your breathing patterns, making them shallow and irregular. Your horse picks up on this immediately because horses are highly attuned to breathing rhythms. In the wild, changes in breathing often signal danger, so your stressed breathing can make your horse feel unsafe even when there's no actual threat present. What's remarkable is how quickly horses respond to your stress levels. If you arrive at the barn after a difficult day at work, your horse might seem more alert, less willing to be caught, or generally more reactive than usual. They're not being difficult. They're responding to the stress energy you're broadcasting. Many experienced horse people have learned to take a few minutes to decompress before interacting with their horses. They've discovered that horses respond much better when they've had time to release their stress and center themselves first. Number 5. They see your intentions before you act. Horses are incredibly gifted at reading intentions. When your horse looks at you, they're not just seeing what you're doing now, they're seeing what you're planning to do next. This ability to read intentions is so accurate that it often seems like horses can read minds. Your horse sees your intentions in the subtle shifts in your body position, the direction of your gaze, and the way you organize your energy before taking action. If you're thinking about asking them to move, they often respond before you even give the cue because they've read your intention in your body language. This intention reading ability explains why some horses seem to anticipate their handler's requests. They're not psychic. They're incredibly skilled at reading the pre-movement patterns that humans unconsciously display before taking action. Horses can also distinguish between clear, decisive intentions and wishy-washy uncertainty. When your intention is clear and committed, they respond more readily. When you're uncertain about what you want to do or how to do it, they sense this ambiguity and often become confused or resistant. Your horse also reads whether your intentions toward them are positive or negative. They can sense when someone approaches with the intention to help versus the intention to force or dominate. This is why horses often respond better to people who approach them with genuine desire to communicate rather than simply to control. Number 6. They read your energy like a weather system. Now let's talk about how horses read your overall energy. When your horse looks at you, they're essentially reading your personal weather system. Just like we can sense when a storm is approaching by changes in air pressure and atmospheric conditions, horses can sense the overall quality of your energy field. High-energy people create a different feeling around horses than low-energy people. Horses can immediately tell if you're feeling vibrant and alive or if you're dragging and depleted. They respond to these energy levels by either matching them or trying to balance them. Horses also distinguish between chaotic energy and calm energy. If your mind is racing with thoughts and worries, Your horse senses this mental turbulence even if you're standing perfectly still. Conversely, when you're truly present and centered, horses are drawn to this peaceful energy like a magnet. Your energy field also broadcasts your expectations. If you expect problems or resistance from your horse, they often sense this and may fulfill your expectations. If you expect cooperation and partnership, they're more likely to offer exactly that. Some horses are more sensitive to energy than others, but all horses have this ability to some degree. It's part of how they've survived as a species, by being able to read the energy of every creature in their environment to determine friend from foe. Number 7. They detect your authenticity versus your masks. Horses are incredible authenticity detectors. When your horse looks at you, they can immediately tell whether you're being genuine or putting on an act. They see right through any masks or personas you might be wearing and respond to who you really are underneath. If you're trying to appear calm when you're actually nervous, your horse knows. If you're pretending to be confident when you're actually scared, they see the truth. Horses respond much better to authentic emotions than to fake ones, even if the authentic emotion is less than ideal. This authenticity detection explains why horses often seem to prefer children or people who are naturally honest about their feelings. Kids don't usually hide their emotions. If they are excited, scared, or happy, they show it openly. Horses find this honesty refreshing and trustworthy. Your horse also sees when you're being authentic in your affection versus when you're going through the motions. They can tell the difference between genuine care and obligatory attention. This is why some horses seem to favor certain people, even when others might be technically better caretakers. Authenticity also shows up in your consistency. Horses notice when your actions match your words and when your behavior is predictable and reliable. They value this consistency because it makes them feel safe and secure in their relationship with you. Number 8. They see your physical and emotional pain. Horses are remarkably sensitive to both physical and emotional pain in humans. When your horse looks at you, they often notice if you're hurting long before other people do. They see how you favor one leg when walking, how you guard your back when bending, or how you hold tension in areas that are injured. But even more impressive is their ability to sense emotional pain. Horses can detect grief, heartbreak, depression, and other forms of emotional suffering with incredible accuracy. They often respond to human pain with unusual gentleness, as if they understand that you need extra care. Many horse owners have stories of their horses behaving differently during difficult times in their lives, being more gentle, standing closer, or showing unusual affection during periods of loss or stress. This isn't coincidence. Horses are genuinely responding to the pain they sense in their human companions. Your horse sees pain in subtle changes in your posture, the way you move, and the quality of your energy. They notice when your usual vitality is dampened by suffering, and they often adjust their behavior to be more supportive during these times. This pain detection ability is so accurate that some horses are now being used in therapeutic settings specifically because of their capacity to sense and respond appropriately to human emotional and physical distress. Number 9. They read your leadership qualities. When your horse looks at you, they're constantly assessing your leadership potential. Horses are herd animals with complex social structures, and they automatically evaluate every human they encounter to determine where that person fits in their mental hierarchy. Your horse sees leadership in your decisiveness, your consistency, and your ability to remain calm under pressure. They notice whether you make clear decisions and stick to them, or whether you waffle and change your mind frequently. Strong leaders in the horse world are predictable and reliable. They also evaluate your fairness. Horses respect leaders who are firm but fair, who set clear boundaries but don't abuse their power. They can sense when someone is trying to dominate through force versus leading through earned respect. Your horse reads your leadership potential in crisis situations especially clearly. Do you panic when things go wrong, or do you remain calm and find solutions? Do you blame others for problems, or do you take responsibility and work to fix issues? Horses notice all of these leadership qualities. Interestingly, horses don't necessarily prefer humans who try to be the alpha or dominant leader. They prefer humans who are confident enough to take charge when needed, but secure enough to allow the horse to be a partner rather than just a follower. Number 10. They see your soul's true nature. Perhaps the most profound thing your horse sees when they look at you is your soul's true nature. Horses seem to look past all the surface-level characteristics and see the essence of who you really are as a being. They see your capacity for kindness, your potential for growth, and your deepest character traits. This is why horses often form strong bonds with people who might not seem like horse people on the surface, but who have genuine, loving hearts. Your horse sees your integrity, whether you're someone who keeps promises, treats others with respect, and acts in alignment with their values. They notice when there's congruence between your inner values and your outer actions. They also see your potential. Some horses seem to bring out the best in people, as if they can see qualities in humans that the humans themselves don't recognize yet. They respond to your highest self, not just your current self. This soul-level recognition explains why some horse-human partnerships feel so magical and transformative. The horse is seeing and responding to the best version of their human, which often inspires that person to grow into that better version of themselves. Have you enjoyed the video? If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. It really helps us create more content about these amazing animals.